Welcome to IgoroTech channel. In this video, I will show you how to create drop-down list in MS Excel. Using a drop-down list in Excel can greatly reduce the time it may take to enter data into a spreadsheet. There are a few methods to do this, from simple to advanced. You'll learn every way to do it in this video. The easiest way to create a drop-down list in Excel is by entering the list manually. This is ideal for situations where you only need a drop-down list in a single cell and you don't need to update it frequently. To create a drop-down list using the simple method, follow these steps. Select the cell or cells where you want to create your list. Select Data from the menu, and select Data Validation on the ribbon. Select the drop-down list under Allow and select List. This allows you to type the items you want in your list manually. Just type each item into the source field with each item separated by commas. Click OK. Now you'll see that the cell you selected has a drop-down arrow next to it. When you click this arrow, you'll see all of the items you typed out included in this list. While this is the fastest method to create a drop-down list in Excel, it's also the hardest to maintain. Modifying the list requires going back into the validation settings and updating the source field. If you create a lot of this kind of drop-down lists in Excel, it could take a lot of work modifying these. This is why it's important to only use this method for single cells, and for lists that you don't expect to change. If you'd like a more flexible solution, you can pull items for your list from a range of other cells in Excel. To do this, first, list all of the items you want in your list into any column of cells. You can also enter these on the current spreadsheet, or on any other sheet. Then select the cell where you want to create the list. On the data validation, select the drop-down list under Allow and select List. This time, instead of typing anything into the source field, click the up arrow icon to the right of this field. This is the range selection option that lets you select the field where you want to pull your list items from. You'll see the data validation window collapse so you can see the entire sheet. Drag the mouse pointer down the entire range of cells that include all of the list items you want to include. When you're done doing this, click the down arrow icon to the right of the selection field. This will expand the data validation window again. You'll see the range you selected now appears in the source field. Just click OK to accept these settings. Now, when you select the drop-down arrow to the right of the cell you've configured as a drop-down list, you'll see all of the items included from the range you just selected. The nice thing about this approach is that you can change any of the items in that list just by modifying any cell in the range. Any change you make there will update every drop-down list you created where you selected this range as the source. This method is best when you want to format a lot of cells into a drop-down using the same list items. You can have the contents of a single range control the items for all of those lists, and it doesn't matter how many there are. In addition to changing items in your range to update your lists, you can also add new items. You won't be able to add an item to the end of the range, because your range selection is limited by the first and last cells you've selected. Instead, you'll need to insert a new entry somewhere in the middle of the range. Excel will dynamically update your range selection in the data validation settings to include the new range that you've increased by one cell. To do this, right-click any cell in your source range, and select Insert from the drop-down menu. In the small selection window, select Shift Cells Down, and select OK. This will shift all cells in the range down by one, inserting a blank cell where you've selected. Type the new item you want to add into the empty cell you've just created. Now when you select the down arrow icon to the right of the drop-down list cell you created, you'll see the new item you just added in the range. For a more convenient way to add items to your drop-down list just by typing the new item at the end of your configured range, you'll need to use the offset function. With the drop-down list cell selected, select Data from the menu and Data Validation from the ribbon. In the Data Validation window, change the source to the following. Change $G$1 and $G$G in the formula to use the letter of the column where you've entered your list of items. Then click OK to confirm this new data validation configuration. Here's how the formula works. The 0 arguments in the offset function tell it not to apply any offset to columns or rows. The output of the counta function tells the offset function the height of the range. The counta function counts the number of cells that aren't empty in the column that contains your range. Now whenever you add a new value to that column, the height parameter of the offset function increases by 1, and the offset function returns the entire range, updated to include your new entry. To see this in action, just add a new entry to your range of items. Select the drop-down arrow to the right of your drop-down cell, and you'll see your new entry appear in the drop-down list. Keep in mind that you may need to use the scroll bar on the right if your list of items is long. Finally, if you ever want to remove the drop-down option from any of the cells where you've set this up, just select that cell and open the data validation window. Change the allow drop-down to any value and select OK. Once you change this setting, you'll see that the cell will turn back to normal. Creating a drop-down list in Excel is easy, and you have plenty of options to choose from. The method you choose just depends on how many cells you plan to enable with one list of items, and how flexible you'd like the list of items to be. If you plan to change the list items frequently, then definitely use the dynamic approach. This covers working with drop-down list. If you found this tutorial is helpful, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.